Hi, this is Lindsay from Channel 5 News. I'm going to ask these two young gentlemen their opinion on rock and roll. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
What is your opinion on rock and roll?
Well, in my opinion, rock has a culture that has some darker aspects. Rock is often linked with sex, drugs, suicide, and violence. Today, at almost any heavy metal concert, one can hear the audience being exhorted to rape and murder in the name of Satan. Any loving parent today would be horrified and shocked to learn that their son and daughters are eagerly listening to such evil.
That's very interesting. Do you have a friend in the back?
Yeah, I guess.
Can I ask you the same question?
Yes, you may.
What is your opinion on rock and roll?
Rock music is one of the world's most popular and adaptable music forms. It originated in the United States in the early 1950s and was known as rock and roll. From the start, it appealed to young listeners. It often celebrated the joys of being young, and it occasionally expressed the frustrations of the youth.
Seems like you had that all scripted or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a good answer.
Thank you.
And that is all from these two young gentlemen on their opinion on rock and roll. After hearing the opinion of many, my team and I decided to ponder if rock and roll could have a deeper meaning. My team and I have decided to further our research into the history of rock and roll in an attempt to see how it has affected the development of various different countries. It was here in East Berlin, nearly 25 years ago, that Bruce Springsteen played his famous song, Born in the USA. So to investigate the effect that Springsteen's concert had behind the Iron Curtain, who better to talk to than the famous artist himself? Thank you, Mr. Springsteen, for giving us this opportunity. So could you tell us what it was like to play behind the Iron Curtain on July 19th, 1988?
I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest, but you could feel the ground trembling with the excitement coming from the building and the crowd. 300,000 young Germans gathered to hear me play. I knew the communist government censored the millions of people living in the eastern half, but I didn't know that many of the people there had such strong hatred towards it. I could feel that thousands of young Germans let out their frustrations through the atmosphere of the concert. Okay.
Many people stated that your concert was the nail in the coffin for East Germany, while many, such as Eric Kirschbaum, stated that you brought down the Berlin Wall. What are your thoughts on these statements?
I primarily went to East Berlin because I strongly believed in ending all barriers, and I wanted to see how people behind the Iron Curtain would react. I feel obliged that people view me as someone who brought down the Berlin Wall, for my main goal is that one day all barriers will be torn down.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Springsteen, and may the force be with you. After getting the opinion of the American who shook down the Berlin Wall, I decided to interview Artemy Trotsky, a communist in Russia, to get his opinion. Back at the headquarters, we hear Artemy Trotsky is ready for a few questions. Let's head on over there. Good evening, Mr. Trotsky. Wonderful day we are having. I have a couple questions for you.
Speed some out.
All right. Well, the first question is, what is your perspective on the uprising music known as rock and roll?
It is spoiling the minds of countless young communists and persuading them to participate in America's vile actions.
But isn't it fair that all people can believe what they want? Isn't Russia's censorship restricting people's freedom?
You are a dobre dusha.
Someone get me a dictionary, quick! Though many know the Beatles as the world's most popular band, a countless number are not aware of the influence the Beatles had on the USSR. Mr. Paul McCartney, the lead vocalist of the Beatles, is waiting for us back at headquarters. Let's go speak with him now. Good evening, Mr. McCartney. We have a few questions for you regarding the Beatles' influence in the USSR.
Yeah, definitely. Fire away.
For almost 30 years, people from all parts of the world viewed the Fab Four as symbols of life and freedom. How do you think the people of the USSR reacted to your music?
I strongly believe that our music created an outlet for the oppressed communists in the USSR. Our fun and upbeat music allowed young individuals to express their complaints against the restrictive government.
Can you give me some examples of how the communist officials reacted to your music?
A vivid memory that continues to haunt me is when I saw 3 communist officials threatening a Russian Beatles fan and then shaving his head in public. I later heard stories of how the young communists illegally bootleg copies of smuggled Beatles records by copying them to use X-ray films.
Thank you, Mr. McCartney. One final question. In 2 sentences, how would you describe the effect your music had on the USSR?
I believe our music, along with the music of many other artists, help uncover the hidden hatred that many young communists held against their government. Rock and roll provided a stable medium which could be used to combat the authoritative control of the USSR.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Paul McCartney. After interviewing various artists and researching the influence of their songs, my team and I came to the conclusion that rock and roll unleashed the anger of many young communists that had been slowly built over the years. Though the USSR maintained strict control over its satellites, the free-spirited genre allowed individuals to flare up in rebellion, thus furthering the American cause of freedom and equality. To some extent, rock and roll may have won the Cold War. After hearing the opinion in an attempt to see how it has affected it. Thank you. Many people stated that your concert. Many people stated was the nail in the coffin for East. Nail in the coffin for East Germany. It's the nail in the coffin for East. That your concert was the nail in the
Coffin.
Isn't Russian censorship? Isn't Russia? Oh, fudge!
Russia.
Russia. I have a hard time saying Russia. After interviewing various artists and researching to interview Artemis, not Artemis. His name is not Artemis.
Artemis Fowl.
Here, Artemis. Interview Artemis Trotsky. Why do I keep saying Artemis? It's not Artemis. I like the name Artemis. I'm gonna name my kid Artemis. I stutter over my words a lot. I'm sorry. Okay. Get out of my scene. This is my scene. Stop trying to steal it. Can you get out of my scene?
Chill,
I'm trying to read. This is my scene!
All right, Diva.
I don't. Oh, that's a big line.
Move your face like.
I'm sorry, there was a bug attacking me.
La 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 lee, lula lee lula.
Songs. I feel.
Where do I spit? It is spoiling the minds of. It is spoiling. Like slow mo.
Pause a little bit in the beginning so I can clap my sticks.
Clap them loud so I know when to start.
Alright.
Oh.
Clap your sticks. Let's get it.
Nope!
Oh! If you're ready, come and get it.
Na, na, na,
na.
Perfect. Okay, there we go. We done. We out.